are. What if we want to go the other way? How can I go from base 10 into base B? Because normally base 10 is how we represent quantities because that's what we're comfortable with. If you were a unary culture where you had names for every unary grouping from 0 to whatever, all these special names, however many you want, you can go to your biggest possible number. And if that was your comfort level, and they say, oh, please write this in base 10, or please write, well, for us, we're going to name it in base 10. That's what we're comfortable with. But what if I wanted to go to another base? How does that work? Well, let's just look at the expansion again. A quantity, so if I want to convert from base 10 to base B, if I had n, well, that's equal to, okay, a to the k, b to the k, plus a to the 1b, plus a0. And so the coefficients are the number in the base B expansion. Well, if I look at this, I could say, you know what? Those all have a B. What would happen if I factor that out? That would be a to the k. All right, one of the b's are gone. And we go down until we get a to the 2 to b, and then we have our a to the 1, all times b plus a0. But if I look at that, I have, well, wait a second. My quantity is a quantity times b plus a quantity. That's the sharing algorithm, right? That's the division algorithm. What would this thing be called? The div. What would this thing be called? The mod. So if I look at this, I would say, well, wait a second, this isn't too bad. N mod B would spit out a0. But n div B would spit out everybody with the b missing. AK, b to the k minus 1, all the way down to a2b plus a1. So the mod would tell me a0, but the div would tell me I had factored out the b out of everybody. But if I look at this, that's just the base B expansion again. How could I find A1? This is a new group. How could you find A1? Take the mod. And then the div would be the leftover. But then how do I find A2? Take the mod of that. And we would just go until there's nothing left over. In other words, this becomes a loop. What we could do is we will just make a nice little loop here. And we're just going to say that, okay, we start off on 0, which is the far right side, and all that's going to happen is AI is equal to n mod b, and then when I take n div b, that's my new number till I work with, and so now I find the next one, and right here we loop on this. Until there's nothing left to work with. And that would tell us our expansion. We just take, okay, mod tells me what my first number is on the left, on the right, and we just keep on going. All this is doing is factoring out a b until we find every one of those grouping sizes. So what would be 1, 2, 3, 4 in base 10? Could you tell me this in base 2? If I would divide that number by 2, what would be the remainder? 0, because it's even, right? And then if I divide by 2, I get a new number. What's half that size? Is that right? So that's my new number to work with. Divide it by 2. What would be my mod? 1, because it's odd. And now I'm at 616. What's half of 616? 308. Whoops. I forget that. Where's the groupie thing? Selection tool. Darn it. So we're at 308. What's the mod? 0. What's half of 308? And so we would have 0, and I'm running out of space here. 0, 1, 0, 0, 2. Okay, what's half of 154? What? 77? That's an odd. What's half of 76? 38, which is even. What's half of 38? 19, which is odd. What's half of 18? 9, which is odd. What's half of 8? 4, even, 2, even, 1. As long as I didn't lose track. Hopefully I didn't lose track as I was doing this. Great problem for coding. So ignore that one. All right. So taking these things is something as straightforward as mod number, cut it by the div, that's what I work with. Mod what's left over, get rid of that, cut it by the div, keep going down, 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 until we work out what the problem is. So we can go from, it's easy to go from base B to base 10, just multiply the silly thing out. From base 10 to base B, we need to be able to do div and mod a bunch of times.